Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, Chapter 2, The Vanishing Glass, page 22 and 23. Little Tyke wants his money's worth, just like his father. Attaboy, Dudley. He ruffles Dudley's hair. At that moment, the telephone rang, and Petunia went to answer it, while Harry and Uncle Vernon watched Dudley unwrap the racing bike, a video cam, a remote control airplane, 16 new computer games, and a VCR. He was ripping the paper off a gold wristwatch when Aunt Petunia came back from the telephone looking both angry and worried. "Bad news, Vernon," she said. "Mrs. Fig's brother broken her leg. She can't take him." She jerked her head in Harry's direction. Dudley's mouth fell open in horror, but Harry's heart gave a leap. Every year on Dudley's birthday, his parents took him and a friend out for the day, to adventure parks, hamburger restaurants, or other movies. Every year, Harry was left behind with Mrs. Fig, a mad old lady who lived 2 streets away. Harry hated there. The whole house smelled of cabbage, and Mrs. Fig made him look at photographs of all the cats she had ever owned. "Now what?" said Aunt Petunia, looking furiously at Harry as though he had planned this. Harry knew he ought to feel sorry that Mrs. Fig had broken her leg, but it wasn't easy when he reminded himself it would be a whole year before he had to look at Tybalt, Snowy, Mr. Paws, and Tufty again. "We could phone Marge," Uncle Vernon suggested. "Don't be silly, Vernon. She hates the boy." The Dursleys often spoke about Harry like this, as though he wasn't there, or rather, as though he was something very nasty. They couldn't understand them, like a slug. "What about, what's her name, your friend, Yvonne, on vacation in Mallorca?" snapped Aunt Petunia. "You could just leave me here." Harry put in hopefully. He'd be able to watch what he wanted on TV for a change, and maybe even have a go on Dudley's computer. And Petunia looked as though she had just swallowed a lemon. "And come back and find the house in ruins?" she snarled. "I won't blow up the house," said Harry, but they weren't listening. "I suppose we could take him to the zoo," said Aunt Petunia slowly, "and leave him in the car. That car's new. He's not sitting in it alone." Dudley began to cry loudly. In fact, he wasn't really crying. It had been years since he had really cried. But he knew that if he screwed up his face and wailed, his mother would give him anything he wanted. "Dinky, Daddy-dum, don't cry. Mommy won't let him spoil your special day," she cried, flinging her arms around him. "I don't want him to come," Dudley yelled between huge pretend sobs. "He always spoils everything." He shot Harry a nasty grin through the gap in his mother's arm. Just then, the doorbell rang. "Oh, good Lord, there you are here," said Aunt Petunia frantically. And a moment later, Dudley's best friend, the Polkis, walked in with his mother. The Pyers was a scrawny boy with a face like a rat. He was usually the one who held people's arms behind their backs while Dudley hit them. Dudley stopped pretending to cry at once. Half an hour later, Harry, who couldn't believe his luck, was sitting in the back of the Dursley car with Piers and Dudley on the way to the zoo for the first time in his life. The end.